Hi, I'm Marie.
I'm Russell.
And we're still standing with Ukraine. And today we have Christina back. And Christina was born in the United States, but she's very much Ukrainian and knows a lot of Ukrainian history and culture, and even practices some of the different things that are very common to Ukraine. So you'll want to stay to the very end because we're going to have some really fun stuff to look at the end. But tell us a little bit more about who you are, Christina.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me back. I love to talk about my history, my culture, and my heritage. I know there's a lot of what we call doom and gloom, unfortunately, from Ukraine's past, but we also have a lot to celebrate. I remember as a child, one of my brothers would say, Dad should just put a Ukrainian flag right here and call this little Ukraine, because we were raised with the religion. There was a church 10 minutes away from where we lived. My grandparents some of them were still with us. We celebrated all the holy days, Christmas. Oh, the Christmas dinner was fabulous. Easter dinners were fabulous. My mom taught me how to do the cross stitch, the embroidery, the vyshyvanka. I learned to do the pisanki. I learned to sing the Ukrainian carols. And it wasn't until I was in my 20s, my mother even bought me an instrument called the bandura.
Oh, neat.
In the 1980s, remember I told you Ukraine was still part of the Soviet Union, but they had Gorbachev at the time, Mikhail Gorbachev, Glasnost and Perestroika. So he believed in a little bit more of releasing of the rules, and Ukrainians were now more free to practice a little bit of their traditions, but it had to stay within the borders of Ukraine.
Oh, boy.
So there was a factory in the north part of Ukraine that made banduras in Chernihiv. My bandura came from that region, so banduras are named after the city in which they were made. Oh. So there could be a Lvivska bandura made in Lviv, there are Kharkiv banduras made in Kharkiv, and then mine from Chernihiv. Unfortunately, that factory doesn't exist anymore, but since 1991, when Ukraine became independent, there has been an insurgence or a regeneration of interest in all of the culture and all of the past and the history. So every single thing I was raised on, I was so pleased, Marie and Russell, when I finally had the opportunity to go to Ukraine and I was walking the streets. I don't speak the language fluently, but I know how to read it, I can write it, and I knew enough. I could walk the streets by myself, walk into a restaurant, order a meal. I could go shopping at the markets. I could find my way, and it felt like home.
Oh, nice.
So 2019 was the first time I was there. I went by myself. But what struck me, and this was actually kind of funny, I'm looking at the street names in Ukrainian, and I'm looking at the maps, and then all of a sudden it occurred to me, why am I looking at English letters? Ever since I was a child, and I learned the Cyrillic alphabet, the Ukrainian alphabet, I learned it is easier to read Ukrainian in Ukrainian than it is to try to read the Ukrainian using the English letters.
It is. I was thinking that because I've learned a lot in this past year, and I'm like, is that a Y, like a Y sound, or Y like a oo sound?
Exactly.
Huh?
Exactly. And as a literacy specialist, I know there are too many ways to spell the long E sound. There are too many ways to spell the I sound. In Ukrainian, it is a highly phonetic alphabet and language. When you see a letter, you know what that letter is.
Right.
And the other cool thing, it's not that hard to learn, because just about half of the letters look the same in English as Ukrainian. A letter T still says T. What looks like a letter C only says the soft sound, S, for example.
You Ukrainians have these strange things like the the cross. There's a
An X with another line in it.
There's a letter we call a je. The best way I can explain it for people watching, have a U up the top, take that U and invert it, so it's almost like a cup on top of another, and then you draw a line right down the middle. And it's pronounced je. A lot of our letters and sounds actually did come from Greece, too. So what looks like a P, we roll our R's, it's a R. So, oh my goodness, I'd love to teach you just the alphabet. And when you know the alphabet,
we do.
You're halfway there.
Yeah.
You're halfway there.
It helps, yeah.
So you were telling us last week, you were born in America, right?
Yes.
But do you have brothers or sisters who were born in America or in Ukraine?
My entire family was born here. My mother always thought, she and her family thought someday they would go back to Ukraine. So she came to America as a 10-year-old. She met my father when she was 22. And my dad looked at her and said, honey, I don't think you're going back. It's time to become an American citizen. So it was at the age of 22. She became an American citizen. I didn't think to ask my grandparents if they ever became American citizens. I don't think they did. I don't think they did.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
So you said that in 2019, that was the first time that you went to Ukraine. And what was your reasoning behind that?
In 2019, I was bound and determined I wanted to do something. That was the year of elections when Volodymyr Zelensky was elected. And a lot of Ukrainians from around the world and a lot of other non-Ukrainians also were very interested in this election happening in Ukraine because there was so much political turmoil. And we had just gone over the Orange Revolution. And in 2014, you had Maidan. So you had a lot that was happening politically, and people wanted to know, are these elections going to be legitimate? So I volunteered to participate as an election observer.
Through which, was it United States?
I went through the Ukrainian Congress Committee.
Okay.
Which was still recognized, and I had to apply for it. I had to be approved. I needed to make sure I had my passport and all my documents were in order, and I was asked where did I want to go. I'm like, well, it's my first time going to Ukraine. I'd like to see where my family was from. So they asked me if I wanted to go to Kyiv. I said, that's a little too far east. I'd like to go further west. So my mother's region is Bukovina, which is just north of Romania. So I said I'd like to go to either Chernivtsi or I'd like to go to the Lviv region. That's the closest of what I remembered my father telling me his family was from. And again, because my grandfather on his side was a professor and he was educated and he wrote books about Ukraine, I still have his books where he included his biography. And it was through that biography I knew exactly where to find family.
Oh, cool.
But I didn't find them that time because I was by myself. And I know they were from a region called Rohatin. I'm like, oh, I see street names with Rohatin on it. I looked at train schedules going to Rohatin. I was very tempted. But I didn't dare leave the safety of Lviv by myself in 2019. The most beautiful part of going in 2019 was I was there for their Palm Sunday. And the way my family celebrated Palm Sunday was exactly the way they celebrated over there. And
nice.
it just felt so good. It felt like home. And they were all asking me, do you want to stay another week? You want to stay for Easter? And I wanted to. I was tempted, but I had to come home. So that was my first time. My parents never would let me go, never supported me going because of the horrors everybody had lived through. And they said potentials of corruption, they didn't want anything potential to go wrong.
But then you went again.
Yes, so when the new invasion occurred in February of 2022. And then the last episode, remember I was talking about all the organizations coming to us? And I told you we brought in about $100,000 in 2022.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
People were asking us, where is the money going and what are you doing with it? The notion of corruption comes up constantly.
Right.
So I said to my husband, I said, I'm going to Ukraine. He said, what? I said, yes, we've been sending the money over. People want to know where is it going and what are we doing with it. So through my church, my priest's name is Father Ihor Papka, and he, of course, had connections in Ukraine. He was ordained in Ukraine, underground also, during the Soviet era.
Wow.
So there are people still alive who remember what was happening back then. And again, that's why Ukrainians today don't want to give anything up. They're not going back. They were not going back.
Underground because they could not.
They were not permitted to practice their religion and their faith.
Wow.
So anyway, my priest, Father Ihor Papka, connected me with a priest in Ukraine who became a priest under him while still in Ukraine, Father Mikhailo Horoditsky, who is a priest in a church in Lviv. So the other interesting thing about priests in Ukraine, they have other jobs. Being a priest is not their only job.
They have a day job?
They do. Father Mikhailo's day job is a tourist agent.
Oh, that's funny.
And he organizes trips. He was organizing trips to Israel until everything happened down there.
Oh, wow.
His favorite place to go is a place called Medjugorje, which is another pilgrimage site, which someday I would love to join them in. He takes people to Rome. But he made all the arrangements for me to go to Ukraine, and my husband said, this time I'm going to go with you. So he came with me.
Nice.
And when people heard that we were going, all of our friends wanted to continue to donate clothing, blankets, the angel dolls from the church, rosaries, hand warmers like you were talking about, gloves, socks, you name it. People want to give. They want to give. So we prepared 9 suitcases full of stuff. We called it humanitarian stuff. We traveled through Delta at the time. When they saw us coming with our carts, they asked us, what are you doing? And we told them we're giving gifts to the Ukrainian people. They waived all the fees for us.
Oh, how nice.
We didn't pay for any of our bags.
Oh.
Everything was just falling into place and felt so good. We had to fly into Poland, of course. You couldn't fly into Ukraine. Father Mikhailo, we helped him purchase a van for his humanitarian work.
Nice.
There is so much to talk about.
Okay.
What he does on the side as a volunteer, he started an organization called the Hands of Jesus. One of the things he did, and the greatest thing I feel we do, is we help Father Mikhailo help the Ukrainians help each other.
Well, that's awesome.
So we give money to Father Mikhailo. He would go to the farmers. He would buy food from them, carrots, cabbage, beets, mostly the heart. Hey, you're not far off. He worked with nuns who would dehydrate all that food.
Okay.
They would grate it, and they would create Ziploc soup pouches.
Oh, nice.
So in 22, when you had the mass migration of the people from the east to the west, they were passing out all of these soup pouches to the people.
Nice.
So when my husband and I went to Ukraine and we met Father Mikhailo, and we saw pictures of all the work that he did, and we met the nuns, we met his parishioners, and we saw them sitting there peeling potatoes, making the vareniki, pierogies. The sad part was, not only did they help the refugees, they helped everybody at the front lines. What Father Mikhailo explained to us was there were refrigerated cars. Excuse me. The unfortunate part, the refrigerated cars. Excuse me, one more time. refrigerated cars coming west from the east would bring back the deceased soldiers.
Oh,
Going from east to, or from west to east. Father Mikhailo organized food trips, and they would fill up those trucks with all of the food from the west and send it to the east. We also have other friends. So this is our job, uniting people for Ukraine. And right now, one of my favorite Ukrainian words is razom, together.
together.
And together we help each other, we support each other. I'd like to mention another big organization that we've been working with called the Loving Lifeline,
Oh, yes.
run by two
The
brothers,
yeah.
Andre and Dmitry. They have done incredible work as well. And they do the same thing that we do. When we travel to Ukraine, we buy products from Ukrainians for Ukrainians because they can't, their economy is
Yeah.
hurting so much.
And that injects money into their economy,
Exactly.
so it helps them doubly. And it saves money with sending things because shipping
Absolutely.
is awfully expensive.
Absolutely. So in 2022, my husband and I were there together working with Father Mikhailo. There was one older man. His name was also Ihor, like my father. My father's name was Ihor.
Yeah.
And this gentleman, so my husband and I were there for a week. Every day for 3 days in Ukrainian, he was asking me, why are you here? And do you have family here? And I always said yes. And he would say, where are they? And I would say, Rohatin. He goes, but where in Rohatin? Rohatin is like a township or a district.
Ah,
So I went back to my brother. I messaged my brother and I said, take a picture of Dido, our grandfather's front page biography of his book, which is all in Ukrainian. And again, I knew enough, just enough to figure out. He was the youngest of 6 siblings. His mom passed away when he was about 1 year old. Father remarried. There was an uncle who, for some reason, took a liking to him. The proverbial rich uncle. So he's the one who financed my grandfather's education and all of that. But Ihor was saying, tell me where they are. So I told him, this little tiny village called Vishnu. He says, I'm from that area. I'll find your family. The next day, he pulls out his phone. He shows me a picture of my cousin who looks more like my grandfather than my own father and my uncle.
oh my.
I went, holy smokes. And his last name, of course, is still Pasichnik. So through them, we made connections with other family members. It was the most amazing thing.
Oh, wow.
But again, to be treated to the hospitality and all the foods my grandparents would make, and going to church with them and praying the way we pray, it honestly felt like home.
Nice.
And again, the people coming together, the helping of each other, Father Mikhailo connecting us with other people. We visited orphanages. We gave one orphanage money to buy dryers.
Oh,
And I mean, in the summertime, they're hanging up their laundry, whether they
Right.
have dryers or not, for varieties of reasons. It's much more economical.
Right.
And the clothes last longer. We ended up buying the nuns machines so they didn't have to hand grate all the vegetables. They were doing it by hand. We delivered some of the blankets. That's another whole story, how people came together and started this amazing project.
from the Deerfield Church.
Is it okay if I talk about that next?
Yeah.
Again, I know it sounds like I'm all over the place, but this is what gives us hope. This is what gives us courage. This is the message we want to give to the Ukrainians in Ukraine. We are not forgetting you. We are praying for you. And we still contact our senators and representatives and say, we want our country to support you. We don't have to send American soldiers.
Right.
Sanctions alone would do a lot.
Right.
Doesn't cost us a penny. There are a lot of things that can be done. But I want to tell you about these blankets because it goes back to 2022. when we were on WMUR.
Okay.
There was a woman in Manchester who tried to start a fabric shop, and she wasn't finding success. She contacted me through the church, and she said, I have so much fleece fabric. I've been trying to sell it, but people want me to give it away to them for free. She said, I'd rather give it to you. Can you turn these into blankets and get them into Ukraine?
So awesome.
I said, yes, I will find a way. I went to pick up the fabric. I filled my Suburban twice.
Wow.
I'm staring at the mountains of fabric thinking, I can't do this by myself in a reasonable amount of time. So I contacted a 4-H friend of mine who does sewing, Lynn Garland. So Lynn Garland is a member of the Deerfield Community Church, and she said, oh, I know people who love to do things like this. So what we did was we started making what we call the no-sew, the tied fleece blankets, like the one that is there. I did make
All the
that
edges,
one.
Yep, all the edges are just tied.
Yep, they're just, you take 2 pieces of the felt, you cut out the corners, you cut your strips, and you tie them together. You can find that on YouTube too.
That's
So since then, we used up the fabric that was donated to us by this incredibly kind, wonderful, generous woman. We ended up giving her the 1,000th blanket.
nice.
Just within the past month, the group of Happy Band of Blanket Makers is what they like to call themselves.
Aw.
They make, they bless them. I taught them how to write the word peace in Ukrainian, mir. So we send blankets with the sign, the message mir, and it says, you are in our thoughts and prayers. There's a picture of a sunflower and a heart. And the person who made the blanket will oftentimes write a little note on the
nice.
back. This one says, from your friends in Deerfield, New Hampshire. I take it back. We gave the 15, I forget. Maybe it was the 500th blanket I gave
That's
away.
okay.
This is the 1,000th blanket which was made. All right, but it says this blanket is our 1,000th blanket made by the Happy Band of Blanket Makers in Deerfield, New Hampshire, with love and prayers, and it was signed by all the ladies. So I told them I would take this to any presentation or talk that I give and tell people this is what we do. Oh my goodness, I'm losing track again of where I'm even going with this.
Okay, but I think that's really great. But I have a couple other things that I'd like to talk about, all this fun stuff. There's something that's done by a group of Ukrainians in New England, a little magazine.
You hold the English side up, I'll hold the Ukrainian side up.
Are we going to tell how I didn't know it was 2 different things?
Yeah. So this is a truly bilingual publication, which is being printed in New England, out of Boston. This one was printed for the spring of 2024. There are a total of 3 magazines now, and we do hope that this can continue if anybody is interested. It is called Chronicles. You can look it up. You can Google it.
And you can learn Ukrainian because you can read Chronicle.
That's right. Chroniki.
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 Yeah.
My biggest problem with the Ukrainian is I sometimes put the accent on the wrong syllable. But the
then-
letters I know.
But then you also make beautiful pisanki,
Yes,
and-
thank you. I do teach classes on that.
and you've
Yep.
made some money for Ukraine
Absolutely.
with your own
Now-
designs and
Thank you.
I'm not going to touch these because
That's okay.
tell people what these really are.
Okay, so these are, most of them, real chicken eggs. This one is not. This one is extra special, and I'll explain why in a moment. But these are real chicken eggs decorated in a wax resist method. I just taught a class yesterday on it. I will be in Sudbury on St. Nicholas Day, December 6th, at a winter village.
Nice.
So I'll be teaching classes there. If anybody is interested, I teach classes all the time. You can find me by contacting our church. I know it's a mouthful, but if you Google Ukrainian Catholic Church, New Hampshire, we're the only one that'll pop up. But yes, there's a whole technique. This egg is also unique. I brought this one back from Ukraine. This one was decorated in such a way that they used colored wax and they left the wax on it.
Oh.
Usually we'll use wax. We'll start with the white egg. We put the wax on where we want the egg to stay white.
Right.
Then we'll put it in a color like yellow. Then we add the wax where we want the egg to stay yellow, and so on. We keep layering it. And in the end, to reveal the real colors, you have to remove all the wax. Well, somebody came up, well, I don't want to remove all the wax. So now we have colored wax that can stay on.
Yeah.
This egg is very special. It was made by one of my cousins. She was actually very well known for using those little teeny tiny seed beads, and she would attach them, and this is a beautiful butterfly pattern. This one is glued onto wood.
Also, but did she like string the beads before she glued it on? Probably, right?
It looks like she did.
Because Ukrainians also are well known for beadwork.
Yes. I was very, very sad to miss meeting her and having her show me how it was done. Unfortunately, she passed away. And I didn't get to meet her, but her sister gave this to me as a special gift.
Nice.
But yes, I love to teach Pisanke and talk about the symbols and how patterns overlap and how this style is called a drop pull. It's from the Lemko region of Ukraine, which is on the Polish border. And again, depending on what year we're talking about, parts of Ukraine were Polish, Lithuanian, Romanian, Russian. Yeah. So that's why today, let them be Ukrainian. Let them be themselves so that they can continue their beautiful traditions.
Wow.
And
And
I was just going to say, we were all born, and we too were all born and raised in New Hampshire. But we meet a lot of people now that say, oh, I'm from Ukraine, or my sister was from Ukraine, or my grandmother was from Ukraine.
yeah.
There are a lot coming, and there are a lot here.
Yeah.
Yes, and the other thing, if I may show you the beautiful wooden work.
Oh, yes.
That I'm not afraid to touch.
Oh, that it's okay. So this is a wooden bowl or dish that was decorated with inlay, mother of pearl, also beads, and this came from the Carpathian Mountain region.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
When I was in Ukraine with my daughter in 2023, I was in the Lviv region, and my family agreed to drive me down to Chernivtsi, my mother's region. On the way, I wanted to stop in Kolomea because that is the craft center of Ukraine, where they keep all the traditional crafts. And they have a famous Pisanke museum there with a giant Pisanke that I wanted to go visit. But unfortunately, it was bombed overnight before I was going to go down. And my family didn't want me to go there.
But you did.
I ended up going to Chernivtsi,
And Lviv got bombed.
Lviv was bombed when my daughter and I were there as well.
How was
Family
that?
kept asking us. Between 4 o'clock and 4:30 in the morning, we heard one strike, the alarms went off. And we hear in Ukrainian, attention, attention, seek shelter. It sounded in the distance to us, and I'm thinking whenever Russia was bombing, they picked one spot that they kept bombing. I did not feel too scared, to be honest,
Oh, wow.
but also because I didn't live it as much as the Ukrainians were living it. We were in a little hotel with only about 30 guests. After some time, maybe after the 5th or 6th strike, there was a total of 7, I looked at my daughter and I said, yeah, maybe, let's go to the basement. But while we're going to the basement, you know what? Let's do our laundry. Grab your laundry. Let's do something. Right? So we didn't just sit there. But when we went down there, we only saw one mother and 2 children. Everybody else stayed in their rooms.
I was hearing that from someone else that visited us, Svetlana. She was saying how people were not running when they heard
No.
the sirens. And she goes, they look at their app on the phone and they see how far it is, and then they go, yeah.
Not only that, the ones that I know, West Ukraine, a lot of the people are very, very faithful people. And I heard stories that they would greet each other in the street with our traditional greeting, Slava Isusu Christu, glory be to Jesus Christ. The response is, Slava Navike, glory be forever. They actually did that. And they said to us, we don't panic. If it's our time, it's our time. God knows.
Yeah.
And they said, if it is our time, when we meet our Maker, hopefully we will end up in paradise for all the suffering that we're dealing with now.
That's so rough. But I want to thank you for coming, Christina.
Thank
Time is
you.
up. And it's been great hearing all these stories, except for the ones that kind of like this last one leaves me a little on edge. But
We leave with hope.
I want to just quickly in a few seconds, let us know about what you're doing on the 20th of December so we leave on a good note.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Very quickly.
Thank you. Anybody who's going to be in the area at the Deerfield Community Church, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the address is 15 Church Street in Deerfield. We are going to be singing Christmas carols, American and Ukrainian. So come join us. We're going to have a great time.
Sounds so fun.
Thank you.
And thank you for letting us know that. And everybody, thank you for Concord TV for all you do, for helping produce this. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the like and share. And Slava Ukraini.
Heroyam Slava.
Which means glory to Ukraine.
Glory to the heroes.